Freckles had twisted his fingers in Nellie's mane. At the kind words his face dropped on McLean's thigh and he shook with a nervous chill. McLean gathered him closer and waited. When the guard came with the otter, McLean, without a word, motioned him to lay it down and leave them. "Freckles," said McLean at last, "will you tell me, or must I set to work in the dark and try to find the trouble?" "Oh, I want to tell you. I must tell you, sir," shuddered Freckles. "I cannot be bearing it the day out alone. I was coming to you when I remembered you would be here." He lifted his face and gazed across the swale, with his jaw set firmly a minute as if gathering his forces. Then he spoke. "It's the Angel, sir," he said. Instinctively McLean's grip on him tightened, and Freckles looked into the Boss's face in wonder. "I tried the other day," said Freckles, "and I couldn't seem to make you see. It's only that there hasn't been an hour, waking or sleeping, since the day she parted the bushes and looked into me room, that the face of her hasn't been before me in all the tenderness, beauty, and mischief of it. She talked to me friendly like. She trusted me entirely to take right care of her. She helped me with things about me books. She treated me like I was a born gentleman, and shared with me as if I were of her own blood. She walked the streets of the town with me before her friends, with all the pride of a queen. She forgot herself and didn't mind the Bird Woman, and run big risks to help me out that first day, sir. This last time she walked into that gang of murderers, took their leader and twisted him to the will of her. She outdone him and raced the life almost out of her, trying to save me. Since I can remember, whatever the thing was that happened to me in the beginning has been me curse. I've been bitter, hard, and smarting under it hopelessly. She came by and found me voice and put hope of life and success like other men into me in spite of it." Freckles held up his maimed arm. "Look at it, sir," he said. "1,000 times I've cursed it, hanging there helpless. She took it on the street, before all the people, just as if she didn't see that it was a thing to hide and shrink from. Again and again I've had the feeling with her, if I didn't entirely forget it, that she didn't see it was gone, and I must be pointing it out to her. Her touch on it was so sacred-like. At times since I've caught myself looking at the awful thing near like I was proud of it, sir. If I had been born your son she couldn't be treating me more as her equal, and she can't help knowing you ain't truly me father. Nobody can know the homeliness or the ignorance of me better than I do, and all me lack of birth, relatives, and money, and what's it all to her?" Freckles stepped back, squared his shoulders, and with a royal lift of his head, looked straight into the Boss's eyes. "You saw her in the beautiful little room of her, and you can't be forgetting how she begged and pleaded with you for me. She touched me body, and 'twas sanctified. She laid her lips on my brow, and 'twas sacrament. Nobody knows the height of her better than me. Nobody studied my depths closer. There's no bridge for the great distance between us, sir, and clearest of all I'm for realizing it. But she risked terrible things when she came to me among that gang of thieves. She wore herself past bearing to save me from such an easy thing as death. Now here's me, a man, a big strong man, and letting her live under that fearful oath, so worse than any death would be for her, and lifting not a finger to save her. I cannot bear it, sir. It's killing me by inches. Black Jack's hand may not have been hurt so bad. Any hour he may be creeping up behind her. Any minute the awful revenge he swore to be taking may in some way fall on her, and I haven't even warned her father. I can't stay here doing nothing another hour. The 5 nights gone. I've watched under her windows, but there's the whole of the day. She has her own horse and little cart, and is free to be driving through the town and country as she pleases. If any evil comes to her through Black Jack, it comes from her angel-like goodness to me. Somewhere he's hiding. Somewhere he is waiting his chance. Somewhere he is reaching out for her. I tell you I cannot, I dare not be bearing it any longer." "Freckles, be quiet," said McLean, his eyes humid and his voice quivering with the pity of it all. "Believe me, I did not understand. I know the Angel's father well. I will go to him at once. I've transacted business with him for the past 3 years. I will make him see. I am only beginning to realize your agony and the real danger there is for the Angel. Believe me, I will see that she is fully protected every hour of the day and night until Jack is located and disposed of. And I promise you further that if I fail to move her father or make him understand the danger, I will maintain a guard over her until Jack is caught. Now, will you go bathe, drink some milk, go to bed and sleep for hours, and then be my brave, bright old boy again?" "Yes," said Freckles simply, but McLean could see the flesh was twitching on the lad's bones. "What was it the guard brought there?" McLean asked in an effort to distract Freckles' thoughts. "Oh," Freckles said, glancing where the Boss pointed, "I forgot it. 'Tis an otter, and fine past believing for this warm weather. I shot it at the creek this morning. 'Twas a good shot, considering. I expected to miss." Freckles picked up the animal and started toward McLean with it, but Nellie pricked up her dainty little ears, danced into the swale, and snorted with fright. Freckles dropped the otter and ran to her head. "For pity's sake, get her on the trail, sir," he begged. "She's just about where the old King Rattler crosses to go into the swamp the old buster Duncan and I have been telling you of. I haven't a doubt but it was the one Mother Duncan met. 'Twas down the trail there, just a little further on, that I found her, and it's sure to be close yet." McLean slid from Nellie's back, led her into the trail further down the line, and tied her to a bush. Then he went to examine the otter. It was a rare, big specimen with exquisitely fine, long, silky hair. "What do you want to do with it, Freckles?" asked McLean as he stroked the soft fur lingeringly. "Do you know that it's very valuable?" "I was for almost praying so, sir," said Freckles. "As I saw it coming up the bank, I thought this. Once, somewhere in a book, there was a picture of a young girl, and she was just a breath like the beautifulness of the Angel. Her hands were in a muff as big as her body, and I thought it was so pretty. I think she was some queen or the like. Do you suppose I could have this skin tanned and made into such a muff as that? An enormous big one, sir?" "Of course you can," said McLean. "That's a fine idea, and it's easy enough. We must box and express the otter cold storage by the first train. You stand guard a minute, and I'll tell Hall to carry it to the cabin. I'll put Nellie to Duncan's rig, and we'll drive to town and call on the Angel's father. Then we'll start the otter while it's fresh, and I'll write your instructions later. It would be a mighty fine thing for you to give to the Angel, as a little reminder of the Limberlost before it's despoiled, and as a souvenir of her trip for you." Freckles lifted a face with a glow of happy color creeping into it, and eyes lighting with a former brightness. Throwing his arms around McLean, he cried, "Oh, how I love you! Oh, I wish I could make you know how I love you!" McLean strained him to his breast. "God bless you, Freckles," he said. "I do know. We're going to have some good old times out of this world together.